Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the true crime podcast that I am trying to do along with my friend Mary Massacre. Today we are going to talk about a 28-year-old stripper from Greenwood, Indiana, who went missing in 1993, and her name is Lola Katherine Fry. And I did learn that her maiden name was Coleman. So let's begin on this story because it's kind of juicy. So, a 28-year-old stripper was last seen at a home in Greenwood, Indiana in November of 1993. Now more than 25 years later, police say she or her car have never been found. On November 14th, 1993, Lola Katherine Fry, 28, left Greenwood driving a red 1990 Mitsubishi Eclipse with Indiana license plate that said Lola on her way to Fort Wayne, Indiana, the Indiana State Police said.
Fry was last seen at a party in November 1993 and left her car, which has never been found either, parked at a restaurant. The Indianapolis Star stated Fry hasn't been seen since that fateful night.
According to her family, Fry was trying to change her life when she disappeared, as she had stopped working as a dancer at a strip club in Indianapolis. Fry's family believes she was murdered, and Fry had decided to move to Fort Wayne to live with her older sister right before she went missing. There have been some tips and leads that have been reported, and it did lead to a search warrant being issued in 2000 for the residence of Fry's former boyfriend. Now, this is where things start getting juicy. John Riker. Not to be confused with General John Riker from the Marvel Comics. But John Riker has never been charged.
Court records state Fry was with her hairstylist in Indianapolis department with Riker at a party when she either fell unconscious or died, police said. One of the men at the party talked with Van and said she either passed out or overdosed on drugs, the Indianapolis Star reported.
And Van is the police officer that was in charge of the case at the time. I'm not quite sure if he still is or not. From there, Riker and two other men covered Fry with a blanket and took her out to Riker's car. Another person present at the party confirmed this story, police said. There was no evidence of foul play found at Riker's residence. Now, there has been a rift between detectives and Fry's family. As Detective Van told the Indianapolis Star, as there were accusations of one-way communication and lack of shared information. Also, she disappeared the day she was to give final deposition in a class action lawsuit against an Indianapolis plastic surgeon. Court documents detail breast augmentation and charges of malpractice and fraud. Lola and other dancers sued the owner of Brad's Gold Club along with the surgeon and Dow Corning, maker of the silicone gel implants. Once Lola disappeared, her colleagues dropped their lawsuits. Foul play is suspected now. Couldn't get that out. And her case was reopened in 1999. And that's the most current information that I could find as of right now. So the case is still open, apparently. The thing that's bothering me is, so her whole car disappeared too. So it's got to be in water somewhere. I don't know where else you would be able to hide a whole car. But I would think, over time, since it's been, over 20-something years, that somebody would have found something. I think more people know some information, but they're scared to talk, even to this day. They're afraid to say anything for fear of their own lives, obviously, because just like it said that her colleagues dropped their lawsuits against the Dow Corning and the plastic surgeon. So that just kind of tells me that they fear for their lives, so they're not speaking up either. Miri, what's your take on it? Is there anything that stands out to you?
I definitely was kind of thinking along these same lines. Just the fact that there were two other people that something happened to the point where they felt, scared enough that they should also back out. That it kind of does lead me to believe that there had to be something else going on that people just don't want to talk about.
Right. And it's sad because she was trying to get her life together. She was a stripper. She had quit the club. She was moving to Fort Wayne to move in with her older sister. She was trying to get her life together. And then all of a sudden her life got cut short. I mean, she was only 28 years old. And it's so sad to think of that. Like, she was just trying to improve herself and make a better life, and somebody took that away from her, or someone's. I kind of feel like it was a planned deal, and I feel like there's way more than one person involved in it. For some reason, I feel like if they found the car, they would find her body in the car.
Right, I mean, that definitely would make sense. And I definitely feel like there had to be more than one person, especially if it's not only like just her body, but her vehicle too. That's, I feel like that's kind of difficult for one person to try to take on to do themselves.
Exactly. I think that she was killed in the car, and that's why the car disappeared. Because otherwise, why would you want to hide the car? That, unless there was evidence that would lead police to find you, or find evidence against you in the vehicle. So I think if they could find the car, they're going to find her. And I hate to say that. I mean, I know the family probably hopes that she's still alive, but I seriously doubt it. Not in this circumstance, in this situation, and so much time has gone by. There's just no way. But, like I said, it's just, she was just 28 years old. That's the part that really bothers me, I think, was she was so young and just trying to get her life together. And that's sad, that somebody, or, these people took that away from her. But I do also feel like the people that were involved, I feel like karma has gotten them. I really do. I don't know why I feel that way. I just feel that way. Like they're either in bars for something else, or I'm sorry, behind bars, not in bars. Well, they could be in a bar. Behind bars for something else, or they've passed away. Like, I just get this strong vibe for some reason. If you want to know more information about her, like I said, there's all kinds of stuff you can look up. Just Google her name, Lola Katherine Fry. She was from Greenwood, Indiana. If you Google her name, it brings up a bunch of stuff. I pretty much summarized it in what we were reading to you, pretty much. But there's also some other little details too. And something that I also find interesting is, okay, so she's at this party at her hairdresser's house, right? And she is drinking and she is doing drugs. That was confirmed. And she suddenly passed out. But Riker, her boyfriend, didn't even check to see if she was alive or dead, or so he says. He just assumed she was still alive. He says this, that she was still alive, and him and some friends wrapped her in a blanket and put her, I think, was it his car? I need to read this. Put her in the vehicle. Yeah.
Into his car, my bad.
So, okay, my question is this then, how do you not check? She passes out and you don't check to see if she's breathing or not, and you're her boyfriend? That doesn't make any sense. And not to mention, she's there with her friends, and none of them checked to see if she was breathing or not? I just kind of find that a little strange. I don't believe that story at all.
And the fact that he took her out to his car, then how did she end up missing in her car as well if she was supposedly put into his car?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And also, I read when police searched his car and fingerprinted his car, they found no evidence of her. There was no DNA of her. There was nothing to back up his story.
So somebody is lying.
And I feel like, I mean, it's hard to say even if there really was a party at this hairdresser's house. Like, I'm wondering if the whole entire story was fabricated and all of her friends, who are the same people that had these lawsuits out, mind you, all of these people were told, this is the story, we're sticking to it or you're dead. I mean, that would make sense to me.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely seems like that would be plausible.
So this was just a juicy little story. I really enjoyed this story a lot because even though it's not a classic whodunit, I mean, to me, it's just plain as day that Riker is in on this, but I feel like there's multiple people, and in order for police to find all of the people involved, like, because it's been so long now, I feel like that will be impossible. But I still feel like they can solve this with all of the technology that we have in today's present age. I don't see why they just couldn't solve this. But then again, like I said, like they're out of leads. They've searched everywhere they possibly can, and no trace of her is coming up anywhere. So it's just really sad. But I do also want to know why sorry, like I lost my train of thought. I got distracted. I want to know why they reopened the case back in 1999. That tells me that some sort of lead has popped up. But then again, here we are in 2022 and it's still not been solved.
It definitely makes me wonder, and I also am like very curious to know like what's actually going on with Riker at this point too. Like I'm wondering, like, did he just move on? Is he just like living life just fine? Like, I don't know. I just definitely get a bad feeling with that. I don't know. It doesn't add up to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, what's he doing now? Like, has he lived with this, like, all these years and he's just, like, going about life like, you know, nothing ever happened? Or is he dead? Is he behind bars? Like, yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Like, how, and not just Riker for me. Like, I'm wondering about all of these people involved. Like, how can they still be living with themselves?
Right, truly.
After all these years. I think they need to bring back the Unsolved Mystery Show and put this case on the Unsolved Mystery Show. And also that just made me think of something. Okay, so her plate said Lola on it. And so the car had to be seen somewhere. They say it was last seen at that hairdresser's apartment the night of the party, if there was a party. Well, that's such a special plate that you can't tell me that nobody remembers that they would have saw that red Mitsubishi Eclipse with the plate that said Lola, because that's kind of cute. Like, that's something that would stick out in my mind. I'd be like, oh my god, that's a cute little car, and she's so cute with her little Lola license plate. Like, you know what I mean? Somebody had to see that vehicle somewhere.
Right. Exactly, I agree with that. It's something that would definitely stick out, like you would see that.
I mean, it had to be, so it went missing. So it had to be moved from the hairdresser's house to wherever it was planted. So somebody had to have seen that. even if they would have done it at night, like, still, that plate should have stuck out in somebody's mind. And, you know, because it's such a unique plate. And yeah, I don't know. This story is just so bizarre. It really is. How she just vanished and no one saw anything. I mean, that's just so weird.
For sure. I definitely agree.
Okay, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for the Lola Katherine Fry case. So thank you very much for tuning in. There's going to be so much more coming up in the near future. Now that my big move is over, I can get back to getting into creating content and getting it out there for everybody. So thank you for tuning in and listening. I greatly appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to my co-host, Miri Massacre. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I love being here.
Great. All right. So stay tuned, folks, because we have next month is October. So in October, if you follow my channel, you know that in October I produce videos just about every single day in the month of October. So we will be having a podcast probably once a week in October. And then come November, it goes back to just one a month after that. So be prepared for that. There's a lot of great content coming your way. So once again, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So that's going to do it for today's podcast. Remember, stay spooky, my friends.